And here we are, we're live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my Chunsters. My name is Glen Chun, and it's time to have some fun with Wrestlecast, episode 9. Now, today, we've got an awesome show. An awesome show because, well, I have a very, very, very special guest. Now, I could spend probably the entire hour that this show is scheduled to go on for rattling off what this man has done in this business, but I've chosen to limit myself to 3 things because I thought that's a good number. So, you have on tonight's show one half of the current PWA Tag Team Champions. You have the CPW Heavyweight Trophy holder, and you also have one of the key and principal owners of DWA. Ladies and gentlemen, quite simply, you have the ultimate rule breaker, the UK Dominator.
You better believe it, because this is the best thing you'll ever have on this type. I tell you what, boys, you haven't seen nothing when you see me. I am the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Just remember it.
And Bret Hart is probably watching that thinking, hang on, I thought that was me.
What a man. That's what he'd be thinking. He'd be sitting at home now thinking, God, I wish I was like that man.
You know what? He probably is. He probably is. Like, he did have some technical stuff, but then again, he never faced you, so...
That's because he was too damn scared. Just like everyone that walks in that ring with me, too damn scared. Everyone knows when they walk in, they're going to get something from me, and it ain't going to be nice. You know it. Everyone out there knows it.
Well, it ain't going to be a Bailey hug, that's for sure.
You better believe it, boy.
Well, today, yes, I said we have a good show because today is DWA Central. It is because DWA is restarted. It's reopened its doors completely. So we've got an interview with the UK Dominator. We've got a lot of fan questions here, including some which I think, well, they're a bit odd, but we'll ask them. But then we have DWA. We have a rundown of last show, the return show on March 5th in Tiverton. We'll have a rundown of that. We'll be looking forward to the future and be promoting the DWA school. So I say, without any further ado, shall we crack on?
Sounds good to me. Sounds bloody good. When you look at DWA, back on form, we had the first opening of the DWA training school today. Turnout, we had near on 20 people there. Excellent turnout, one of the best turnouts we've had. And that just shows you when you've got quality, you're going to be able to get people to turn up for it. It was an awesome turnout. Thanks very much for everyone that turned out for that training session.
Yeah, when I've seen the pictures, and I must admit, it's good to see a turnout like that, because it's good to know that there's a pool of people around here in this area of the country that just want to get started, and DWA will steer them right.
Well, the thing with DWA is it's got some good quality people. Obviously, you've got PJ Jones. He's dealing with some of the training. You've got the likes of NXT Tag Team Champion that will come down every now and again. Joel Redman. He's going to come down and do some training with DWA. Well, obviously, he was the founder of DWA in 2009. You've also got Josh Knott. He does a little bit of training for us, and there's quite a few other people that will come down to do some. Nick Riley from the Magnums, he'll be down to do some training. So you can have a good quality there. So DWA is on the map.
And that's good as well, because you get a variety of different inputs as well, because that's one thing that I've been told a lot is variety and being diverse in what you can do. So,
well, you can only get a certain amount from one person. Once that one person runs out, you're going to have somebody else come in. You know what I mean? I've been doing this for near on 23 years now, and in that 23 years, I've learned a lot of things from a lot of people, and they've been good quality people. And hopefully, I can pass that knowledge on to other people that can take it on further.
Yeah, that's a good place to start actually with the school. So, for anybody who's watching, for anybody who does want to join the DWA school, where and how do they do that? Because it'd be criminal for me to plug it when you're here.
Well, hey, why not? Let's sort it out. Start with the man from the beginning, right up through. There's no point having a little man plug something as big as that. So we start off with the website, don't we? With dwa.com. You can go there. You could turn up down at the boxing club. That's where we're being held at the moment. Which you can go on Facebook, DWA Facebook, and you can have a look there. We're going to be placing a couple of posters up on different websites, so there's going to be a lot going out there.
Yeah, and also I'll be posting links in the description of this once we are off the air and I have all the links available to me and time to sit down and make sure I've linked everything without forgetting things. Because that's the thing, I always wait until we go off the air so that I know so I can re-listen to the show and I know everything that's been referenced, which always helps.
But you have to do that again because I lost you constantly through most of that.
Well, I
completely dead for a good 30 seconds.
Well, that's good. No, I was just saying I'm going to link everything in the description of the video. So, DWA website, the Facebook page, you'll be able to click a link in the description of this video, and it will take you there. But you have to wait for us to go off the line because I don't know how much I'm going to be linking people to. I always wait until after the show so I can listen to it back and yep, link that, if you know what I mean. So I don't miss anything, essentially.
You know what you're doing on that geeky side of it. Personally, I'm more of a hands-on person.
Well, that's the thing. I do have glasses, so I do open myself up to that.
Well, we don't like touching people with glasses, do we?
No, it is tantamount to. Well, actually, you know what? I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go there. Let's not go too far down that front. But let's just say it is. It is like picking on the needy, isn't it? Really.
Absolutely, and we know you're definitely needy.
Yes, I am. Right, so I reckon let's do fan questions. Before we start picking on.
Go on, Chuck.
Here we go. Alrighty. So George Bennett, long-time viewer of the show and all-round great guy, he has asked, do you like being hated? And have you ever considered being a good guy? And that's also a joint question. John Rakes also asked that. Big band, John Rakes. Have you ever considered being nice?
Oh my God, boys, look at this face. Now, does this face even look like it could be nice? Does it even look like this face could actually act nice? Sorry, boys, me being a face, never going to happen. Not in a million years. I am the UK Dominator for a reason, okay? The reason being I dominate quite a bit in that ring. So don't think that this face is ever going to be nice. It ain't going to happen, okay? I can be nice to people or I can hate people. It really depends on my feeling. But when you chuck questions like that at me, believe it, I ain't going to be nice. Me, face. Come on, boys.
Oh dear.
God, give me another one.
That's just the way it is. Right, so Jamie Pearn, the ultimate JP, rookie JP, depending on where you've seen him. What was your reaction when you first saw the Right Said Fred bold caps?
The Right Said Fred bold caps. Now, let's put it this way. If I wasn't so sure that I'd be fined or even maybe kicked out the door or even maybe not back on shows again, then I would have took those bold caps, ripped them off their heads, and I would have shoved them right down their throats. Because let me tell you something, even though it's good to see, this boy doesn't even look like Right Said Fred. Right Said Fred was one of the most ugliest people I've ever seen in my entire life. Gay as they come. I mean, have you seen this guy? He is as gay as they come. Now, does this look gay to you? Does this look like Right Said Fred? I don't think so. I think you've got it wrong. When you see those caps on people's heads, my God, that is probably one of the worst things I've ever seen. Not only did they look stupid, stupid's not the word for it. Geeks. Probably go down the line as geeks when they put those caps on their heads. And then I came out and I seen it. I almost choked on laughing at them. It was almost to say, you absolute losers. One, man, I'm too good looking. to be Right Said Fred. But hey, if that's what you want to do, boys, if that's how the fans see me, then go ahead. Because to be honest with you, I'd much rather you be talking about me, shouting at me, talking about me, than picking on some other poor loser that thinks he's a wrestler. So yeah, bring it on. I love it because I can carry on like this all day long.
See, now, are you entirely sure that anybody could actually throw the UK Dominator out of a building, though?
Oh, come on, they've tried. I've had many matches where security's had to come in and stop me from doing something. I think I had one match. Actually, I was in the system. We were doing the system for another company, Pro EVW, and we were on a title match, and we actually lost it through some stupid little boy that makes some stupid mistake, and I lost my rag. And I don't regret losing my rag. That's the thing. I don't regret it. But it took 3 security guards to help get me out. Couldn't even get me out. One of them was ginormous. I took him to the floor, and I'm sure somewhere on YouTube that footage will be there. So I'm sure all you idiots out there that think I look like Right Said Fred could actually go and watch that. Somewhere out there on YouTube it'll be there, and you'll see that it takes a damn sight more to get rid of the UK Dominator.
Yeah, that is a warning shot, by the way. Marcus had a very, very similar question, and it was like, when was the first time you heard that chanted, and did the chanters end up getting chopped? Now, I think that question is partially inspired by the Pinfall documentary, in which you are seen to be chopping.
Some idiot decided that he wanted to become a wrestler, and he came to me one day and says, "Teach me. I want to see what I can do within a month." You want to be taught by me, then you've got to expect to be a wrestler. All right, you can't walk through those doors into DWA and expect to. It's not going to be easy. Now, the chop from this pinfall was specifically just to say, I mean, this is what it's all about. If you go into a ring on it doesn't matter what company you're going to go to, and you get the likes of me, myself, or anybody, the Dan Walsh pretty boy, you're going to get PJ, you're going to get the almighty massive boy Joel Redman. You're going to get chopped. It doesn't matter where you are, what company you're in. When you look at Massive, he's absolutely Massive is ginormous. That man chops you. You're going to know about it. Yeah, you're going to know. Drew Galloway, the man himself, he chops you. He's got huge hands, and I've actually, I've got footage of him chopping somebody that I asked him to chop. Man, he is mad. That man has got such huge hands; it would cover your chest. So my little chop that I done to that boy on pinfall was nothing compared to some of these boys.
And I'll tell you what, that guy, just so people know the reaction, he fell on the floor holding his chest. He looked like he'd been shot with a shotgun.
Well, he held his chest because he was so shocked on how hard it was. He was so shocked that actually wrestling could well be real. Wrestling could well be, you can hurt yourself wrestling. You know what I mean? It's not as if you're not going to fall on little bits of padding on the ring. That's boards and metal underneath that. You come off that top rope, you're going to hit something really hard. You know what I mean? You are going to get hurt in that ring. At some stage throughout your career, you are going to get hurt. This is why I say you need to be a wrestler in order to wrestle. You can't just go in a ring and expect that you can do this job. This job is not for the light-hearted. You have to work hard at it, and real hard.
Yeah, Here's the thing. I have been chopped at LEP by a Mr. Tyler Hawk. Yeah, and that was a good chop as well. I had that red mark on my chest for good. Yeah, it was still visible a week and a half after. So, yeah,
Tyler Hawk is one that I didn't mention. Maybe I should have thought about that one because he's got He's got such a nasty chop on him, and and he can be such a nasty man when he wants to be. A man after my own heart, I must say.
Yeah, yeah, it felt just so people know. Just for those of you who think it's fake, I invite you, please come and get chopped by a wrestler. It will feel like you've been stung by a million hornets all at the same time.
Absolutely, more than a million hornets. It kills. That's why he hit the deck faster than you could say Jack Robinson. He was the man that went down so fast. Give him his due. He got back up. He done another one. He got another one. So you know what I mean. And that's what wrestling needs. It needs people like that will just get back up and go over and over and over again. There's one time I was in a match with PJ Jones. Funny enough, we had a good match up in the air. And I broke my foot, but I had to carry on.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like a lot of people don't understand. It's like you can't just stop.
No, it's not like that. If you're halfway through a match, if anything happens, got knocked out once, got back up, and it just made me go faster. It made me go harder. I wasn't going to let people see that it winded me in any way. I was going to get back up in that ring, and I was going to do the work that I'm getting paid for from the promoter. So, it's not easy. Definitely not easy.
No, that is a big thing to take away from this, actually. And we talked about PJ Jones a bit there. Now, PJ Jones, bless his heart, I think his mind works in a slightly skewed tangent because he's asked a number of questions here, and I could only, in fact, only one of them I would say is actually relevant to anything. But first of all, let's just go through them all because PJ, you're a special man. You are the winner, and we are going to ask your questions. So, first one he asked is, why don't you wear a kilt?
Do I look like the man that's going to wear a kilt? Come on, PJ Jones. I know you're a bit of an idiot sometimes, but come on, do I look like somebody that's going to wear a bloody quilt? Because that's what they are, a quilt. Keeps you warm at night. God.
Well, that's your answer, PJ, because it's for sissies. And then he also asked, did you go bald because you were ginger? Is that the reason?
No, my boldness, pal, is because I got all these women after me, and my head does rub a few times off of some headboards. So that's the only reason I'm bold, is because the gorgeousness of this that can pull in whatever I want to pull in. So yeah, that's why I'm bold.
Oh, like it, son, like it. Now that is, if you're going to go bold, that's the way to do it. And okay, now this one's just strange, PJ. Do you know the Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man. The only Muffin Man I know, PJ Jones, that's the foot that's going to go right up your backside if I hear any more stupid questions like that. The only Muffin Man I know, boy, got et. Remember that? Oh, I remember. We're supposed to be tag team partners. Let's go down that line, shall we, sometime. Don't open it up, those cans of worms that you may not be able to shut back up again, pal, because my foot can quite easily turn on your ass. So I'll give you the Muffin Man, pal.
PJ, you're playing with fire here, and I think you're going to get yourself burned. Although this question is a bit more relevant. Although again, it's not brilliant. It's why do you have 3 rules, and why did you stop at 3 and not go to 4?
Just repeat that.
So why do you only have 3 rules? I mean, why not 4?
Well, 3 rules. Why do you need 4 rules? You know what I mean? If you get 3 rules, the first rule that you ever have in any situation is you tell people to shut up, don't you? You know, when I'm talking, you be quiet, just like you do now. You know what I mean? That's my first rule. If I talk, you be quiet. Get the idea?
Absolutely.
My second rule, shut up, I'm talking. Did you forget that rule? Exactly. My second rule is if you've got to keep your seat. It's very, very bad if you're standing up when I'm talking. So my second rule is when I tell you to sit down, you sit down. It's common sense. You know what I mean? I don't need you standing up when I'm trying to do something. It's not good. It's not good. And then my third rule is the respect thing, isn't it? You have to show me respect. You don't stand up, you don't talk, and you respect this, because this will step out of the ring and smash your bloody face in if you don't respect it. Do you get the idea? You get the idea?
I do.
You have to respect. Shut up! I'm speaking. Do you not forget that rule or something? When I talk, you shut up. That's the difference, you see. And a lot of people tend to forget that. And then you talk about all these people that come in to watch wrestling, and then they see me, and they look at me, and they think, I wish I was like that. So all the fat, all the overweight women that come in to watch me, well, they shouldn't be. They should be at home cooking, cleaning, and ironing for their kids, shouldn't they? And their husbands. They shouldn't be there. You know what I mean? It's very disrespectful being there when their husbands need all this help, and then their kids needs all the cooking and the cleaning. You know what I mean? My personal opinion is get that chain, tighten the chain up, and just connect it to the kitchen sink and keep it there. Get the idea? So, yeah, the 3 rules. You don't need 4 rules. So the idiot that thinks you need 4 rules, you need to go back to school, pal, because 4 rules doesn't even come into it. It's the 3 rules. Comprendi? 3 rules, not 4. 3, not 4. Get the idea? You can talk now.
Okay, yes, I think I do. I apologise for talking now. I thought you're inviting me to agree, but yes, I do agree that 4 is excessive. So, and PJ Jones, I don't know if this is an intended as a
PJ Jones again.
I don't know if this is a question or not. I don't know if this is a question or if he just
love with PJ Jones. Do you love PJ Jones? Because that's all you PJ Jones.
He asked a lot of questions.
Well, because he talks a lot. He goes on and on and on. He's in my ear all the time. Yeah, PJ. What PJ? I don't want to hear PJ. Give me PJ's question. Go on, give me PJ's question.
Okay, I don't even know if this is intended as a question or if he just got lost on some sort of tangent because he asked, why Delilah? I mean,
Delilah was pretty good, actually. She's the one that got the big bold spot here. So actually, Delilah's, why Delilah? Because Delilah was probably, actually no, my wife now, she's the best ever. She's like top rate. But why Delilah? PJ, you wouldn't know because you're still a virgin.
PJ, well, that is the end of his stuff, by the way. We're not going to hear that name. We're not going to hear that name ever again on this show.
And me and PJ needs to have words, because if PJ's going to come out with stupid questions like that, PJ needs to go back, look in the bloody mirror, and think, what do I need to do in this lifeline?
Well, I mean, you got shows coming up. I mean, they could always happen.
Aye, you're right. Aye.
But let's move on, because Terry Speller does actually have an actual genuinely good question, and it's this. It's who inspired you to become a wrestler, and who did you grow up watching?
I watched all the good ones. You can't beat any one of the old school wrestlers, because they're all the ones that you need to look back on and think what they went through when they went through to get into the business. I was inspired by not just one, but many, too many to even mention. It'd be unfair to mention one name. But inspired me to actually become a wrestler, then, you know what I mean? Like I said, there was many things, and I wanted to become a wrestler just because I was probably, I wouldn't say I was amazingly good, but I could hold my own.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like it's when you find something that you can do, isn't it? It's like you go for it.
Absolutely, you've got to go for it, because if you don't go for it, you'd be stupid to sit back at home saying, "I wanted to do that. Mum, look at that on the telly. That looks really good. I wish I could do that." We'll get on the internet. There's a big old place now. There's lots of places out there that schools are out there to do it. And, you don't have to sit in your little armchair. Get out and be one.
Yeah, that's actually something very similar to what Danny Walsh put on Facebook one time. He said, "Don't just watch it on TV. and stop creating yourself on SmackDown games, thinking you can do it. Get out to yourself at school and actually do it.
Well, absolutely, I agree. You know, I mean, Danny Walsh is a very, very wise man when it comes down to it. Sometimes you have to think about the things he's thinking, but you know, most of the time he's got a very level head on his shoulders, and you know, I mean, he does think about some really good stuff. I mean, you couldn't ask the truer word, really. Get out or get off your ass. You're not a lazy idiot. Get up and do something about it.
Yeah, I mean, once you've done that and you've actually, at the very least, experienced it, then you'll and you actually know what goes into it, then you'll appreciate it so much more, even if that's all you do take from
The
it.
thing is, when you experience it and you've got the experience of being around the boys, and that's the best thing is being backstage around the boys. The experience of that, the training, and new friends. You know, I mean, you get in the ring, you do some stuff. It's an experience you never want to you never want to leave that behind. You know, I mean, that's an experience you want to take with you constantly. This is why we keep going back doing what we do, is because once you're in a wrestling surrounding, that becomes your family. And now you're in
Yeah,
a wrestling family, and it doesn't matter where you go in the country or even even the world. Once you are a wrestler, you are part of a family. That's how the wrestling orientates itself. It doesn't. You can go from here to Japan, and you can go into a school in Japan and still say that's part of my family because it's a huge place.
that's and I have experienced that a bit now because I've helped put up rings. I've been there as trainee and as ring crew, and yeah, it is. It's like a family. People see you working hard, and then you get accepted in, and that's
The thing is,
it's,
with there's a lot of people or a lot of wrestlers out there, no names mentioned, that are obviously they think they're too good for ring crew. They're too good to touch the ring. Well, I've got news for you boys. You know what I mean? I've been in the business a long time now. If I can still put a ring down, I can still put a ring up. You need to get off your lazy asses. And you need to get out in there. You need to do it yourselves because you're not big enough yet not to do the ring. If I can go into a show, sit there and watch Joe Redman, aka Oliver Gray, go out and put a ring up and put a ring down and be there till the end, then you're never going to be too big to do that. You're never going to be too big to do that. You should be doing that on every show.
yeah. That's I mean that's what I mean. It's there's so many pictures of of Bullet Club members taking down rings. You just mentioned Joel Redman. Yeah, if these guys can do it, everybody can do it. And at the end of the day, that's part of like that team atmosphere that helps make a show what it is at the end of the day.
No, that's the thing that wrestling in a whole has lost is the respect side of it. You know, I mean, the UK wrestling scene many years ago was built on respect, and that's what I would like to see back in the business. I would like to see the respect side back in it because there is no respect in the business now, and people have lost that.
Yeah, I mean that's very very nicely linked into a question from Fergus McLean who asks, "What do you think about wrestling today, and what do you think the future holds for the industry?"
I'm one of these very disappointed old school wrestlers that think that you have to pay dues to be a wrestler. I was brought up into the wrestling at a very hard time to be a wrestler, where you had to pay a lot of dues to be a wrestler. And I'm sure there's a lot of old school wrestlers out there that will agree with me that I mean, it's you need to go through that stuff, that old school stuff, in order to know if you want to do this job. There's a lot of people in there that go to a school, they're treated with, I mean, a lot of kit gloves. I would say kit gloves because they get away with a hell of a lot. Whereby myself, and I'm sure a lot of the wrestlers would agree with me on this one if they hear they went through hell. I mean, absolute hell to be a wrestler. And this is why I say that the wrestling business nowadays is far, far, far too easy to get into. And you get a lot of little kids that come in, they become a wrestler, and then you get these promoters, allow them to wrestle for free and take our jobs away from us, the good wrestlers that want to go out and they want to wrestle, and they won't wrestle because there's promoters would rather give the free wrestlers the job rather than pay a wrestler. Where we paid our dues, we paid for what we had to do. Many a times I've had to do many things before I even got paid. I had to do many things, and then I think I wasn't even allowed to go to another promoter for many years to wrestle. I had to pay my dues for the company that I was with, which I'm glad, really, because it made me who I am today. I've got a lot of respect for this business, and hopefully, with fingers crossed, that we can bring that back to DWA and bring that their sort of respect side of it back, because I think that's what it needs. I think this business needs respect.
Yeah, I'd certainly like to think that I have the respect. I would like to think so, because my attitude has been, I don't think I can just step in there and just do it.
Let's put it this way. Let's put the gimmicks aside. Let's just come out of character. Let's just take all that and put it aside. You are probably one of probably one of the most respectable person that would walk into a place, because the first thing you do is you come up and you introduce yourself. You shake your hand and you introduce yourself. You walk into a place of wrestlers. It's not the wrestler's job to come to you. Okay, you've just walked into the place. It is your job to go and introduce yourself. Don't expect somebody that's been in the business 20 or 30 years to come to you, because it doesn't work like that. You have to show them the respect. They don't have to show you the respect. That's the difference, you see. When a wrestler's in the place, he will walk in, and it doesn't matter how many years he's been there, he will walk in and he will shake the hand of everybody else. He will make himself known that he is there, and he will say hello to everyone. I walk into a place, I will not expect them to come to me, and I don't care if you're a trainee or you're not a trainee. I will come to you. I have just walked in. And this is where people tend to forget. They'll walk in, they'll sit down, and they won't say hello to anyone. This is why you need to remember it is your job to say hello. It is your job to say, I am such and such. Is there anything I can do to help? Especially when there's a ring being done up. And if there's a ring needing done, you need to do that. Have a match. If you've had a match and you go out and you have your match, go back to the veterans and say, look, is there anything you could help me with? Don't keep it to yourself, and don't expect it always to be good stuff. A lot of people come backstage and you give them the bad stuff. They don't like it. Well, you just ask me. If you just ask me if there's anything I could do better. If you don't like it, don't ask me. But don't be shocked if you get the wrong answers, because they're only there to help you. They're not there to make you should never be wrestling or anything like that. They're there to basically say, yeah, you've done a few things wrong. There's a few things you need to pick up on, but expect that. Don't expect all the good stuff, because it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you genuinely believe that you can wrestle a match and then ask advice, and they're just going to say perfect, absolutely knocked out of the park every time, you're deluded. I mean, I always
Absolutely.
make a point. I always make a point when I come into a room as well. I always look around and I make sure, like, right, whose hand haven't I shaken? Yeah, I'm like, okay, I'll go up and say hello. I'll go and say hello. When I'm finished doing this little bit with the ring, I'll go and shake the hand. Yeah, it's that, isn't it? I mean, I'm under no impression. The business doesn't owe me anything. I owe the business, and that's my viewpoint on it. In fact,
I've been in the business a long time, and the business doesn't owe me a thing. You know what I mean? I'm still wrestling, so I still owe the business everything I can give out. So when you go out to wrestle, you're not wrestling for you. You're just another wrestler, another person in that ring. You're wrestling for everybody out in that audience. You're wrestling for that promoter. You're not wrestling for you. You're there to keep your opponent safe. You're there to keep the audience entertained, and you're there to make sure that promoter is happy. So forget about yourself. You're not there for yourself. You're there to help everybody else.
Yeah, there's like think of it. I mean, if you were to go into, say, a theatre production, if you were to go and do a pantomime, you're not doing that pantomime for yourself. You're doing that pantomime so that everybody else that's watching around can say he's behind you. It's the idea is they're paying to see you, so everything you do is for them. It's at least that's the way I see. Way I think is whenever I do have my first match, I'm going to be thinking, what can I do to give these people their money's worth? They paid 8, 10, 12 pounds to be there. I want them to feel like it was 8 and 10, 12 pounds well spent. I mean,
Well, the thing is, the audience is obviously the biggest part of the show. Without them, you are no wrestler. You have no show. So you get all these generic wrestlers that will go out, and they will just wrestle. They're very quiet, generic wrestlers, and then you get these wrestlers that get a bit like myself. You get interrupt. You got to go in with the audience and involve them. You know what I mean? You've got to have. I love it, right? I might say that it's about this right said Fred thing, but realistically, come on, I love it. You can give me as much as you want. I don't give a crap. You know what I mean? I'll do whatever it takes. And if you're not going to eat off me, then I'll eat off of you. You know what I mean? I'll make you eat off of me because you know, I mean, without the audience, God, it's my job's impossible. And you know, I can't feed off nothing.
yeah. I mean, I couldn't imagine I couldn't imagine if I managed to be in a ring and the crowd just aren't into it, and then pull off like I don't know, I'd just say I do like a moonsault from the top rope to the sound of crickets. Oh, that would be. Yeah, you're right. It's with it's the fans. The fans are there, and it's like you say. Without the fans, it's not the same. It's you know what? There's that video that WWE put out. It was like a video about fans, and it was like showing their reactions, then going crazy to things and that type of thing. And then it had, it was something like 20,000 lights, 100 wrestlers, something millions and millions and millions of miles on the road, you know, whatever. And then it came down to Daniel Bryan on the stage going, "Yes," empty arena,
Yeah.
and it's like doesn't mean anything if there's not 20,000 fans there.
It doesn't feel right. It's not. It's not your wrestling. It's the fans that come to see you wrestle. The fans is what makes me roll out of bed every day. You know what I mean? I don't get out of bed anymore. I roll out. My body's absolutely knackered. You know what I mean? But I've loved every minute of it. You know what I mean? I'll go on as long as I can go on. I'll go on as long as the fans keep coming. I'll go on as long as they keep shouting, and I go as long as they keep calling me Right Said Fred. So you know what I mean? I eat off of everything that whatever they say and whatever they come up with. I love it. Give me it. You know what I mean? That's what I want. I want you to do this because if you haven't got your Right Said Fred chance, then obviously I'm not doing my job right. If you haven't got your 3 rules and you don't like those 3 rules, then of course I'm not doing my job right. So I'm glad, you know, in these lads that come up, okay, I could go into character and I can say, shut your mouth, do whatever you want to do. But without them, who am I? What am I? You know what I mean? I'm just another generic wrestler that probably can't wrestle.
Yeah, well, if you can't get a reaction, then then it probably isn't right. So, I mean, you talked a little bit in there about the future. I mean, I was going to ask you a question like, what is your favorite part? And you have just answered that. Really, it is the fans, and I mean that they are everything. It's like so.
You know my favorite part of all is when you're backstage, your music goes off. They don't even have to know who's coming out that curtain. You know, I mean, there's many times I've my music's hit, and they've already started chanting Right Said Fred without even the name being mentioned. They've already chanted that, and it's like, do you know what? That's awesome. That's absolutely spot on. And you go through the curtain, and then it's just that mad. Oh God, yeah, you can't beat it. You can't beat it. It's just such an amazing feeling. And that's why I say pay your dues. Become a wrestler, because when you've got what you need to have to be a wrestler, you're gonna bloody love it. You are gonna. It's such an amazing feeling. It's better. It's better than anything you'll do in your entire life is walk through that curtain. You will not get anything better than that.
They've been met with that wall of sound. You know what? Jason King said something very, very good the other day. I was talking to him, and he said it was at CPW, the last show that they did. His music hit, and then we started clapping along. There's because they didn't know it was Jason King, because it's the best around, and everybody's clapping to that catchy intro. Jason walked out, and then everybody just goes, "Boo!" It's just an instant from this. Boo! We hate you. And and then his brain. He just said, "I just thought, yes, got him."
Got that aura when you walk through the curtain. The very first time that audience ever see you, they got to establish what you are. Are you, what are you going to be in that ring? Are you going to be good, or are you going to be bad? It's like, if you can't establish that in the first walkthrough, then you need to go back and you need to look at it. You need to re-look at what you're doing, because it's never going to work. If you don't get that right, then people will get confused of what you're doing. So that's really important. That has to be part of wrestling, is making sure that you can hit that curtain at the right time, the right places. Because if you're not going to get that right, then you're obviously doing something wrong.
Yeah, and I don't think you'll ever get that right. You won't get that right first time, I don't think.
No, definitely not. You've got to work on that. That's something that DWA is going to work on. It's going to be entrances, mic work, everything that you need to become a very good all-round wrestler. You're going to be able to walk out, a hand's got to be touching that mic, and all instantly you've got to know what you're going to say. You haven't got to think. You haven't got time to think about it. None of that stuff that you do on that mic, you don't know what you're going to say. You don't know how you're going to say it. You don't know what reaction you're going to get. So if you can't get a reaction from it, then you need to go back and practice that. If you can't get out of that curtain knowing what you're going to do and not get confused over it, then that's what you need to practice. If you can't get in the ring right, that's what you need to practice. So don't go out thinking that everything's going to run smoothly, because it doesn't work like that. It doesn't run smoothly. Things are going to go wrong, but you've got to know how to fix it. You can't go out not knowing how to fix it, because if you can't fix a problem that goes wrong, you shouldn't be in the ring. If you can't keep your opponent safe, you shouldn't be in the ring. If you're that quiet that you can't get onto the audience, you shouldn't be in the ring. So, you need to be able to do all things. You need to be able to promo. You need to be able to enter the ring. You need to be able to come out the curtain. Everything, the whole lot.
Yeah. I'm noticing time's pressing on a bit, but that's good. I mean, I didn't even realize how long we've been going. It feels like we've been talking 20 minutes, and we've been going for almost 3/4 of an hour. That's a sign of a good show, I think. There is one more question, which is a good one to round off on, actually, in terms of the questions. And it comes from the referee, John Joe Obrey, Double J Obrey. What is next for the UK Dominator? Where can we see you all wrestling?
Oh, we've got a few things on the pipelines. A couple of them you're going to have to keep an eye on the website for. We are in Cornwall with Plymouth 27th, isn't it? PWA
Grand Prix.
27th. Yeah, I'm there on that one. We've got the 28th May. We're back in Tiverton. So DWA's got a show back in Tiverton. That's going to be a good show, because we've got a hardcore match on there with Joe Redman and oh God, see, my brain's gone dead again now. But that's going to be a hardcore match with Joel. And then obviously we've got the training coming up. We've got a big, massive show coming up, but I'm not going to even talk about that yet. I'm going to let you lot stir on that one. I want you to keep an eye out for that one, but that's going to be a huge one. That's going to be in Barnstable. So a lot of things going on in the pipelines. We are growing. After all, we've just started back up again, so things are going to be a bit slow to begin with. But once it gets running, we'll be doing some good stuff. Some good stuff. Yeah, but it's all the pipelines at the moment. You'll have to wait.
But that's like a train leaving the station. It doesn't just set off at 125 miles an hour, does it? It goes slowly, and then it gets momentum and goes, doesn't it?
Well, you'd be surprised on how long we've been in talks getting DWA back. It's been 14 months. We've been talking about that Tiverton show. It's been 14 months since we sat down at the very first time to talk about DWA to where we are now. So it's been a long hog, but I didn't want to rush into it and expect everything to work straight away. It's going to take us time, and good things, you can wait for good things. So good things are going to happen for DWA and the DWA staff. So watch this space. It's going to be good.
I'm very excited for the future of DWA, actually. And yeah, that's a good thing as well. And I did write down the results from March 5th. I thought, like they do on BBC in the football tables, should we do that? Or should we talk about what happened? So
yeah, go for it, because that's a good way to go out.
Yeah, because you had, ladies and gentlemen, this is from March 5th, the return show at Tiverton. 14 months in the making. Here is what happened. You kicked off your night with the Lionheart, Eddie Ryan, versus the professional, Josh Knott. And that was a back and forth match. That was super competitive. It was absolutely fantastic to watch.
One of the good matches to actually start off a show on, because they're two very good competitors and they do feed off each other. So that was a good start.
Yeah, and in the end, after like I say, an incredibly competitive match, Eddie Ryan eventually got the nod over Josh Knott and put him away. And your winner of that match was Lionheart Eddie Ryan. And yeah, that match set the tone big time.
Yeah, it was a good start-up match because it kept everyone really, really going. It kept on really on the edge of the seat. And I tell you what, that audience that we had at that show probably safely say was one of the best ones we had.
Oh, they were going crazy the whole night, and that bringing that energy. It was absolutely fantastic to see. And then, well, we had a bit of an altercation in the ring, where this all of a sudden got thrown into the mix, just completely out of nowhere. You had a big old brawl. I think it was right during the time Joel Redmond and Charlie Garrett were in the ring. They were talking, and then all of a sudden, the winners and sinners, PJ, the winner. Oh no, we're not going to mention him.
Interrupt you there. Come on, let me get in, because to be fair, what right did they have there? You know what I mean? Come on, the winners and sinners. I mean, we really want to rule some stuff. We want to go down. We want to make sure that everything happens to us. This is what we are good at. I mean, we're good at kicking ass, and I think we proved a few little points on that night. I think that it's not the last thing you're going to see of us. Definitely not.
Well, no. I mean, they came down, interrupted the back and forth between Redmond and Garrett, and then all of a sudden, yourself, the UK Dominator, you come running out, and you go and swing take out John Harding, who was emceeing this night.
Oh, come on, John Harding, he was the MC that night. But how many times have that boy decided to put his nose into my business? It's like there's many times that he decides to open his big, ugly, fat mouth. And I tell you, when I think of John Harding, I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on him in Cornwall. No. Where am I getting my hands on him? I can't even remember. Oh, on our show, isn't it? DWA, on that next show, the 28th. I'm going to kick his butt so much. You look at me. Oh God, I really want to wring his neck now. John Harding, God, I am going to boot your ass all over that ring, boy. You are going to see stars. See stars. You put me back into my... Oh, see what he's doing to me? He makes me mad. He makes me really mad. Now I'm back in to gimmick again. You see this, boy? Oh, I'm going to wring your neck.
See, now that's the thing as well. Because whilst that happened, all of a sudden, David Fury, Jack Heenan, they come down, try and make the save. And then we have a bit of a standoff where John Harding ripped off his top. He laid down the challenge. It was going to be a 6-man tag match, and it was quickly accepted. Winners and sinners: PJ Jones, Marcus Payne, yourself, the UK Dominator, versus Harding, David Fury, and Jack Union.
That name, do you have to mention John Harding? Why can't you call him the Twig or Twiglet? Twiglet's good. You know what I mean? It's John Harding. Oh, my brain's just eating up. I can see how hot it's getting. John Harding. God, I'm going to do some stuff to that boy on the next show.
So maybe you'll like what I'm about to say, though, because the match was chaotic. And then all of a sudden, you have Twiglet on the outside, and you absolutely annihilated him. You've sat him down, he got nice and comfy, and you chopped him so hard he goes flying off the back of the chair. That was right in front of me, and that, I think, maybe they exacted a bit of a revenge on him that night. But then in the ring, chaos is unfolding. David Fury, he's taking out everybody, spine-bustering Marcus Payne, and things are going nuts. Eventually, PJ Jones, the winner, emerges from the chaos and picks up the win for your team. The winners and sinners, and the UK Dominator defeated the Twiglet, David Fury, and Jack Union.
Well, what can I say? Let's put it this way. If there's something I can say about these stupid questions that PJ came out with, is he's good in the ring. He knows what to do in the ring. That's why we are PWA champions, and we have been for over a year. That's why we do so good together. Let's talk about Fury, Dave Fury. Now, there's somebody you're going to have to watch out for, because he's going to be one of the top stars. And I reckon that David Fury is going to be a bit of a tough man to beat. That's what I think, a bit of a tough man to beat. But you watch that space. He made his little mark in that ring on the last show. And I reckon we're just going to watch out for him.
Yeah, he came, when he got in there, he wrecked house for a bit. Absolutely. And, well, you know what? It's going to be very interesting with David Fury, because he's going to be wrestling Marvelous Mark Walsh at LEP on March 26th of this month.
Match. That's got a good match. Big fan of Mark Walsh. Very, very good wrestler. Very intense wrestler, and I must admit. And I think David Fury, he might have a little bit of a hard match there, but I don't think I'm going to be. I don't think I'd like to be the one that goes up against this man, because Fury's going to be a bit of a hard one to beat.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I tried to put him in a headlock. I think I hurt my own arms more than I hurt him. I
can agree with that.
Solid man. Anyway, your third match of the evening, and this was the match before the interview. You had the pretty boy, Danny Walsh, taking on Jason King. Now,
Jason King. Let's go back on to Jason King for a bit. He came down on the last Cornwall show, and that's how I got my trophy, my little trophy there. So hey, what can I say? But as much as the mouth you've got, we call you the mouth from the south. I didn't need your help anyway. You know what I mean? I could have done it by myself, but thanks. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that I can say thanks very much for, but didn't need it. But hey ho, you were there. So you decide you were there. I used you for a wee bit, and then get rid of you now. But thanks for your help.
Yeah, well, Jason King, he on DWA, he took on the pretty boy Danny Walsh, who happens to be a trainer of Jason King. So it's a bit of a teacher versus student match, this. And I'll give Jason King his due. My God, he had control of that match for quite some time. But in the end, Danny was just too much. He knew a few too many tricks for Mr. King, and eventually hit that flying elbow from the top rope. And it was the pretty boy who came out victorious in this one.
Well, you can say something about Danny Walsh. He might teach the lads some of the moves, but a teacher never teaches you all of the moves.
No, a few of them you've got to invent yourself. Now, we mentioned Marvelous Mark Walsh earlier on. He is an intense wrestler. And poor boy Adam Flint. He He found that out the hard way. He had a
Well,
good.
remember we talked about this earlier on in the segment. We talked about these little kids getting through that think they can wrestle. Did you see the state of that boy? He was like a stick, wasn't he? He shouldn't have been there. He had no right being there. And my hat goes off to Mark Walsh for making him realise that he shouldn't have been there. So, Mark Walsh, you've done an amazing job on this kid. Maybe he'll have second thoughts about getting back in the ring again.
Yeah, this was a good about five to 7 minutes of just getting beaten up, really. In the end, RKO from Marvelous Mark Walsh puts Adam Flint away. And then we had a main event for the DWA Trophy. A two-time...
What a main event it was. Oh my God, I sat backstage and I watched it and it was amazing. What a battle between two of the top wrestlers in the UK today.
Yeah, absolutely. Two-time trophy holder and one half the first ever NXT Tag Team Champions. Joel Redman took on Charlie Garrett, and like you said,
you cannot beat that man, Charlie Garrett. A lot of the audience tend to boo this man, but he's not the type to boo. He's a good all-round wrestler. I mean, he worked his butt off that night, and I tell you what, Charlie Garrett, he's going to go places. He's not going to. You're going to see him many places. So you keep your eyes open for Charlie Garrett, and I tell you what, this next hardcore match for those two, wow, it's going to be amazing.
Exactly, and that was set up right at the ending of this match. Actually, Joel Redman had Charlie Garrett there, and all of a sudden, the marvelous one, Mark Walsh, runs out and attacks Joel Redman with a chain to basically gave Joel Redman the win via DQ, and then the pretty boy Danny Walsh comes running in, and these two have had
that was a turn up. Brooks never imagined that in a million years. But then I think the outcome was really good. It's going to be pretty damn good, that one.
Yeah, these two have had a bit of a ding dong in CPW, so a lot of people were expecting Danny to take his brother out. He had the chain on his wrist, and he turns around and he clobbers Joel Redman with it.
Well, I'm glad. You know what I mean? It's good to see Danny back with his brother. You know what I mean? Him and his brother needed to get back together, and he needed to get those differences sorted out. So in a way, I'm glad Danny Walsh has seen the light and he's came back to the side.
Yeah, Pretty Marvelous are back together. And, well, to make the save, David Fury and Jack Union seem to like making saves, these two. Jack Union dresses a bit like a superhero. But they came running back out, and then Joel Redman, he takes the mic, and he issues the open challenge. Joel Redman, Charlie Garrett versus Pretty Marvelous in a hardcore match.
That's it. That hardcore match is going to be it's going to be one to watch. Again, I'm glad I'm not there because being hit by Joel Redman and Charlie Garrett ain't going to be easy. Ain't going to be easy, especially when those two are in the ring together.
There's going to be a lot of bruises left on a lot of bodies after that match.
I was quite surprised when I seen Dan Walsh take out Joel Redman. It was one of those where I thought, right, Joel's coming down to take out his brother, and then he automatically turns on Joel. Maybe he's seen part of some little glitter in Mark Walsh's eyes that he could not turn himself to hit and turn on his own blood. Maybe that's what he's seen, and then he's seen Joel Redman in the corner of his eye. I think Joel really expected him to help out there. I think when Joel got turned on, he was a bit surprised about that because I was surprised when I seen Dan Walsh turn on Joel. A little flitter in my heart says, no, that was good because he didn't turn on his brother. You'd never turn on blood. That's one thing you never do.
Well, he didn't, and I must admit, the fans were surprised. And ladies and gentlemen, that was your evening. Everybody filed in for a meet and greet after that point, and ladies, I think the fans are sent home happy. It was an absolutely phenomenal show, start to finish, action-packed. Well done, DWA, on the return. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, well done, all the roster. The roster worked their butt off for that show. So did the audience, and so did everyone else in
in the place, staff, the lot, everybody right from the bar staff all the way through to the backstage. It was an amazing show. Hopefully on the next one we'll be doing the same thing. You'll have an amazing night. Not that there's a plug in this, but do turn up. You're going to see such an amazing hardcore match where you're going to go back thinking, God, that was bloody good. I'm sure I am going to sit back watching it, and I might even come out and watch it.
Well, I'm going to be watching it, that's for sure, and we're going to be plugging it as we're coming up to the event. That is for sure. Hello, I've got things beeping here. It could be a message. Okay, no, it's LEP talk. You see, that's the thing when you're well connected now. But we do actually have a message before we sign off. And where's it gone? Where's my email? There it is. Cody Hagen posted, WWE Roadblock sucked because all the heels won. Hashtag WM32. Okay. I'd say Roadblock sucked for different reasons, but we're not going to get into that because we have hit the hour, and it's been an honor to have you here. But before we do sign out, before we say goodbye, wish everybody well, and hope they get to see next week's show, there's always something we've got to do. Mr. UK Dominator, where can these viewers find you on the internet if they want to keep up with all that's happening with the UK Dominator?
Well, I've always got my webpage on Facebook, so we're always on Facebook. You'll see me in many places, but the most recent one will be DWA.com, which is Devon Wrestling Association. But just put in DevonWrestling.com, you'll come up. It'll be fine. Also, I'm on Twitter, Facebook, especially Facebook. That's where I live, on Facebook. Basically, that's it, really.
Yeah, and for me, if you want to follow me, if you want to find out about Wrestlecast, if you want to find out whatever I'm doing in the world of pro wrestling and where I'm going to be going, what shows I'm going to be seeing, you can find me also on Facebook on my like page, Glen Chun. Twitter is Glen, I think it's _Chun. And that's where you can find me. So that concludes the official business, where you can find the two of us on the internet. And all that remains is for me to say a big thank you to the UK Dominator for coming on tonight's show. It's been an absolute privilege to be able to talk to you about wrestling. I mean, there's a lot of things there that people can listen to, and really, if you listen to and follow, and you're doing yourself a big favor when it comes to the world of pro wrestling. So I must admit,
thank you very much for having me. Yeah, I mean, it was nice to have a chat out of character and a chat in character. So it's sometimes it's good to get out of the character just to sit and talk.
Absolutely, that's what I love. That's what I like about this show. You get to see the man behind the wrestler a bit as well. It's always good to have that. And yeah, like I say, from myself and from the UK Dominator, we wish you a good week until next Sunday, where hopefully you'll be back with another great guest. Absolutely. And thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, 3 rules.
Yeah, don't forget them, whatever you do, because I'll be after you. And hey, good luck to everyone. See you on the next show.
Alrighty. See ya and have a good night. Bye.